और ये धोनी की हुई जीत।
गजब ग्रिप कैसे SRMB जैसे।
SRMB TMT बार की विन ग्रिप टेक्नोलॉजी सीमेंट के साथ बनाए मजबूत पकड़।
Grip is important.
The excitement is maximum. Again, we are representing the club with most participations in the international stage from India. We are carrying today in our T-shirt the flag of the country. See the expectation that the game has is the day that I see more people here in the press conference. So from the coach side, I think that it's just about giving continuity to the work that we are doing. And I want to connect with the words of our captain, Saúl. He just was in the same page. So when you see that your players are plugged and don't even talk about fatigue, tiredness or the game 48 hours back, just looking forward for the game of tomorrow, I think that the things are starting to be good for us.
That is so important for East Bengal and for the country, because we will represent India in Asia, and we will try to do our best and try to beat Arkadag.
Right. The situation for both clubs regarding the season calendar is completely radically different. We are in a moment that we are close to the end of the season. The advantages for us is that the team is mature, the players are having a good understanding on the pitch, we are coming from a good run of performances and results, and we don't need to think too much in adjustments, just in giving continuity to the good things that are happening on recent dates. On the other side, we can consider that they also have, as you say, fresh legs. They are at the beginning of the season, probably not suffering any injuries, probably having more recovery time as they are coming directly from a pre-season playing important friendly games. And on our side, as you know, we had a game here just 48 hours back, and the effort of our guys was maximum even when we had to finish the game with 10 men. So there are pros and cons on both sides, something to consider outside, but I think that the main thing is that in the moment of the kick-off tomorrow, the willing of the team that wants to do the things better is the one that is going to have the dominance and the most chances to win the game. All the talks around about the moment of the season, where they are, where we are, actually the reference that we have about them is about the AFC Cup that happened in last October, November. So even that for us is difficult. We cannot analyze their new recruitments, their new players. The reference that we have about Arkadag is back on the AFC Challenge League games that they played back in October. But they can have good references on us because in the last months we are having a hectic calendar, and probably they know all our players, our modifications, our possibilities, and what we do in each moment of the game. But I don't see it an advantage or a disadvantage. I just see that both teams are coming in a different momentum. There is a lot of literature about what is better, to play first at home or to play the second leg. You will have a lot of contradictions, as you say, in the answers, because everybody has their own feeling. On our case, what we think is that when we have the calendar done and when we have to play our first home here, we need to be optimistic, confident, and put it as an advantage for us. Probably if you ask the other coach, they prefer to play the away game at home. But for us, playing with such a physical team, in such a difficult weather, the adaptation that they need to have is huge. They are coming from completely a different country with now in the middle of the winter, so probably we want to make that an advantage. We know that probably tomorrow they are going to start 30 minutes very, very strong, but our team is looking that we can match intensity with even the stronger teams of the ASL, so we hope to cope with that, because I'm sure that if the game goes to the last stages and the battle is still on, we can capitalize on the high intensity of the final parts of the game. Here at the beginning of the season for us, I was not here, so of course I got all the information from our players. Altin Asir was a good team. Probably they were coming, in a moment of the season that they were playing competition, and East Bengal in that moment was completely in pre-season. And the reality is that Altin Asir were looking a little bit more ahead of East Bengal in that moment, and the reality is also that Altin Asir does not match the level of Arkadag following the results of the last 3 years in the Turkmenistan league. So, but as we say, the moment is completely different, the players are different. You are mentioning a player that is one of the key players of the team. In that moment he was the number 8 of Altin Asir, and tomorrow probably he's going to be commanding the central area of the pitch. But in central areas is exactly where we are also being quite compact, quite confident, and when we are dominating the proceedings of the last games. So let's see tomorrow who can win the battle in that areas, but the game is going to be much more than that. I think that tomorrow game is not to focus in one particular area. We need to focus in all the moments of the game, in the attack, in the defense, in the transitions, in the set pieces, as they have strong players also in the set pieces. So we need to minimize mistakes. We are coming from a game that probably, as we say, one of our players lose the cool and the motion. And tomorrow, in terms of competitivity, we need to be at our best. It's not about mentioning players, positions, moments, or tactics. I think that tomorrow, competitively, we need to be at our best to be such a strong rival as the one that we have.
Footballers, we know that we will have good moments and bad moments. And now we are thinking in AFC Challenge League. And we can remember in Bhutan that we scored almost all the chances, and this is our target. We are, 25 players in the squad, and a lot of players can play in the centre back. I can play in the centre back, and it's not a problem for us.
Participation in AFC Cup tournaments. I don't like, as you know, I'm quite a humble guy, but the reality is that when the club that I was working in my previous participation set an objective, the good thing is that I overcame the objectives and I did my job, and I think I have a decent record in this kind of international competitions. We qualify. I remember when I came here, nobody believed East Bengal could be in the final stages of an international tournament, especially with the beginning of the season. Since I came back 10 years back to India, one of my dreams was playing the international competitions, and I need to thank God to have the luck or the fortune to be in 3 different countries playing these competitions. One of them is Maldives, as you say. With Maldives, we were in the last game and we couldn't qualify for the final stage. I also got references from my colleagues there of what happened in the games between Arkadag and Maldives. And as I say, I think that we try to study very, very deep in our analysis on what happened in the last 3 games. We also need to see that in the last game they were losing 3-0 in the minute 65-70, and they came back. So apart from being a strong team, they are a team with identity, with feeling, with willing, and never losing the hope, because they qualify because they could score 2 goals in the last 20 minutes of the game. Otherwise, they would not be our rivals today. So I repeat, the entity of our rival tomorrow is very serious, is huge, but the entity of East Bengal is nothing less than that.
I think that the referees are a consequence. We are focusing in us. If we play good, if we follow our plan, we don't care about the referees. We are just focusing us.
Blames, and I don't want to divert attention on the factors that we cannot control. If you are mentioning this thing of the referees, probably is because it's in the air that in the domestic competitions, let's say that we were not lucky with critical decisions in critical moments of the season. I agree with you, but I'm not going to come telling that our season is a consequence of what happened with the referees. I'm not going to say that, because I always believe in the integrity of all the competitions. So say that, this is the AFC. It can happen. In the AFC, you go back to analyze a lot of games. There is always politics or people thinking that one referee can favor one country or another country, or if you defend the coefficient of certain country to play more important competitions in following stages. But we are not going to come into this. Again, we believe in the integrity of the competition. Now we are in AFC. In AFC, the referees are always the best referees of their respective countries. The same as in this competition, play the best clubs of their respective countries. So I hope that tomorrow we don't need to, same as I say that I hope that Dimi tomorrow give an answer on the pitch, I hope that tomorrow on the pitch we don't need to be discussing in the post-match conference that the game is influenced by referees, but about the performance of the players.
Extra time.
লেটেস্ট নিউজ আর এক্সক্লুসিভ ভিডিওর সঙ্গে আপডেট থাকতে এখনই সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। বেল আইকনে ক্লিক করতে ভুলবেন না যেন।